everyone? Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and I have done it. I have completed every single achievement that grants XP in Hearthstone. That includes every single Darkmoon Faire gameplay achievement, as well as the Duels achievement. So I wanted to make a whole walkthrough guide of how to complete every single achievement so that you can basically maximize your XP in the Battle Pass system. Every single one of these achievements, if you complete them, will grant you at least, I think, 210 XP. And of course, you'll get the achievement points as well, which are meaningless, but are kind of cool. I have like over 15k, and I'm trying to catch up to Iksars, the lead card designer, who keeps flexing on me with his superior gamer score, but I'm going to try and catch up to him. I'm going to keep trying at it. But anyways, I wanted to make this guide, and I just think it's, you know, it's nice for people to have at least some kind of a resource. If they have some of the cards that they can go for these achievements, that maybe they have a better idea of how to go for it. So let's go through it, and in this guide, I'm going to cover every single class achievement. So the Darkmoon Faire gameplay has, like, you know, Paladin, Priest, all the different classes. We're going to cover every single one of them. We'll cover the neutral achievements, and then we'll also cover the Duels achievements, give you guys an idea of how to do those. So let's start that. But before we get going, I do want to let you guys know, I asked on Twitter for the Hearthstone devs, basically, is the XP for these achievements going to go away once the next expansion comes out? And Celestalon confirmed that yes, once the next expansion comes out, the XP related to the Darkmoon Faire achievements, as well as Duels, will not be, you won't be able to get them. It will go away. So you basically have until the next expansion to complete these if you want the XP. The achievements themselves will stay in the system, but the XP for the Darkmoon Faire track will go away, and they'll be replaced by new achievements from the next expansion that will grant XP. So there'll always be new ones to come in and replace it. But if you don't complete these before the next expansion comes out, you will be missing out on these XP points. Kind of sucks. It would be nice if it would stick around, but that's just the way. It's not going to be that way, at least as of now. So let's get going. Let's dive in. Let's start with the first class in Demon Hunter. So each class has 3 specific achievements related to them, and again, they all grant XP. And the first one we have here is Good Arm. It's destroy 5 minions in a single turn with Throglaive. I found this one was the easiest to accomplish in Duels. I just picked a Demon Hunter whenever I got it, put in Throglaive, and eventually, you know, we just lined up. Especially if you have the Moarg Outcast, one of the treasures that lets you basically repeat the left or right side. It's really pretty easy to accomplish, but again, you don't even need that. You can just do it, and there's a lot of token decks, and eventually you'll get it done. It didn't take me very long once I started spamming some Duels. Next is deal 100 damage with Il'gynoth's effect. Basically, play Soul Fragment Demon Hunter, play OTK Demon Hunter, and you'll basically get it done. So either one of the lists, you'll eventually get it. This is just a gradual thing. You have to eventually deal 100 total damage. So if you have Il'gynoth, just put it into a deck. You'll eventually get there. You know, with your Aldraki Warblades, your Eye-Beams, any Lifesteal card, you'll eventually get it. And that's basically the strategy there. Next is Not So Lonely. This is end your turn with the Redeem Pariah with 10 attack or higher in play. I completed this one in Wild using Bran and Lance Carrier. So Bran, Lance Carrier will give this minion plus 10 attack. And it can't be through like Abusive Sergeant. It has to be a permanent at the end of turn effect. It can't be temporary, so like Dark Iron Dwarf, that kind of stuff. And yeah, I guess the principle around this is you're supposed to play Outcast cards to buff it up. I just found it a lot easier. Put in like Bran, Lance Carrier. But if you can't do that, then I guess play Redeem Pariah in a deck. Try and high roll Skull of Gul'dan and just get a bunch of Outcast stuff. But I didn't think that was very effective, and the Bran Lance Carrier route worked out really well for me. Next, we have the Druid achievements. We have Sun and Moon to me, cast 6 lunar or solar eclipses in a single game. So basically, just put in 2 of each of the spells and put Kiri in your deck, and you're good to go. Just eventually play all 6 of them, the 2 you get from Kiri and the 4 in your deck. You're fine. If you don't have Kiri, what you can do is make a Duels deck and try and get more of these, or you can just basically like Nature Studies or Raven Idol and Wild and try and discover more. But yeah, that's basically the way to go. You just have to play 6 and you're done. Next we have Leave Us Alone. Summon 200 Greyboughs. This one took me a while, but I basically built a wild deck. I had Greybough, Germination, Hadronox, and Azoth. You can build it however. I'll just show a list that I used here. And yeah, eventually I got it done. It's just one of those gradual things. You just gotta play it a bunch. You don't have to play this in Wild. You can just build a standard deck and try and like... Germination's probably your best friend with it, because if you copy, you have 2 of them, they bounce back and forth and you get a bunch. You can put Faceless in there as well. But overall, yeah, it's a time sink, and, you know, you'll eventually get it done. And the last one is Rigged. Guess the weight correctly 10 times. But guess the weight in your deck. Eventually, guess it right 10 times. Overall, it's just a gradual one. You'll get it done eventually. Not much more to it than that. Next, we have the Hunter achievements. First one is Ride Together, Die Together. End your turn with 3 identical Death Rattle minions in play. Basically, the easiest way to do this is have the same Death Rattle minion die a few times, play Jewel and Azoth, and boom, it's done. I did this going for the Tonk damage, I believe. You can do it with whatever. One of the spells that help you get that 3rd copy from your first Jewel and Azoth, if you're really going for that, is just cast 9 lives. That'll not only proc a Death Rattle effect, but you get another copy of that minion in your hand, you play it, and you'll have that same Death Rattle minion die 3 times, and yeah, it's the best way to do it with Jewel and Azoth. Of course, you could play, like, 2 cheap Death Rattle minions and, like, Faceless it, like 2 Leper Gnomes and Faceless the Leper Gnome. That would also work, but whatever you want to do, this one shouldn't be too hard. Just, you know, either do a 9 lives Jewel and Azoth build, or again, like a cheap 2 copy and Faceless Faceless Manipulator, and you're good to go. Next is deal 500 damage with Darkmoon Tonk. This one I did in Wild, and it was actually quite a bit of fun. I did like a Spell Hunter build. I had like Barnes, Yashraj, and Tonk. And I would just put in like Master's Call and just basically always Barnes on 5. I would either get Yashraj, which would summon Darkmoon Tonk, or just summon a Darkmoon Tonk, and then I like 9 lives it. I could play dead it. It's a lot of ways of proccing it, and that deck actually went positive. I'll put the list here. It did pretty well. It was actually a lot of fun to play, and the damage didn't take too long to get done. So not only was this one not too bad to get done, it was actually a lot of fun to play. So if you have Darkmoon Tonk and you have a lot of these cards, give it a go. It's pretty fun. Next is Toss Me, which requires Maxima Blastenheimer. You have to launch a minion at your opponent for lethal damage. I kind of memed up with this one. I tried to do Blood of the Ancient One OTK of Balefuling, or mummy wrapping Ancient One into my deck, dealing 30, but I eventually just had my opponent down to 9, and I had a Blood of the Ancient One in my deck, so I just play Maxima and kill my opponent. Basically, you can just play an aggressive hunter deck. You can make it more spell-based, so you have, like, you know, basically in Wild, more spell hunter based. There's a lot of good spells for that. And get your opponent low, play Maxima, finish your opponent off. You'll eventually get this one done. Your hunter, hit the hero power, get them low, and then just try and get that lucky hit in. But yeah, you have to have Maxima for this one, so if you don't have it, this achievement ain't going to be too easy to get done. So next we have the Mage achievements, and we have You Can't Take It Off, deal lethal damage with Mask of Cthulhu. Basically, you can just build a Tempo Mage deck, whatever you want, and put Mask of Cthulhu in there, get your opponent low, and try and finish them off. I had a little bit of fun with this. I'll put Mark's OTK Mask of Cthulhu list. I did like a Quest Mage thing in Wild. I think it did like 90 damage. It was ridiculous with Vargoth, but overall, just put the card in like an aggressive Tempo Mage deck. You'll eventually get that lethal and win the game that way. The next 2, basically just play Secret Mage in Wild. First is Hall of Mirrors. End your turn with 4 Occult Conjurers in play. So, you know, you have 4 of the 4/4s on board, which only requires 2 minions, the 2 copies of the minion. They just have to survive. You can put, like, Duplicate in your Wild deck to get more, and you'll get it done if you just play Secret Mage. Any net deck Secret Mage, just put Duplicate in there. It'll help you out. And then the same goes with, yeah, your Future is Clouded. Draw 50 cards with Sage, the new Mage Legendary that draws cards for every secret that's been procced. I got it done pretty well with Secret Mage, and even got Legend in the meantime, because that deck is ridiculously good and Wild. Next is the Paladin achievements. We have Lothraxian's Balloon Shop. Give 100 Silverhand Recruits Divine Shield. So basically, you want to play Lothraxian and get a bunch of Divine Shields. You don't have to have Lothraxian for this. You can use other cards, particularly in Wild with Odd Paladin. There's some decent little strategies you can do. Those primarily being played Steward of Darkshire in your deck, which every time you click the button, you give your minions Divine Shield, as well as just play Righteousness, the classic rare spell that you probably don't even know existed, gives your minions Divine Shield. So you have a bunch of recruits on board, play the spell, that'll also count. But of course, playing Lothraxian and clicking the button will also get you there. Yeah, the new, like, Corrupt spell, but I didn't bother with that. You don't really need it. Odd Paladin's definitely the best way to go with this, but again, you don't have to do that. You just literally grind this one out, eventually give 100 recruits Divine Shield, and you're good to go. The next one is freaking impossible, stupid, and I hate it. It's Yogg Champ. Deal lethal damage with Oh My Yogg. I had a stream just yesterday where I went for 10 hours to get this one done. I have basically lost like 2,000 ranks. I queued into a viewer and he helped me do it. What I had was like a self-damaging list. I'll just show it here. I would basically put myself to really low health, play all my Yogg, and then hope my opponent would cast a spell and kill me. And there was a couple times where that almost happened, but it's brutal, it's awful, it's not really fun, it's a super grind. Give it a go if you want, but I don't recommend this one. It's purely random. But here, I'll show you the clip of it happening in all of its glory. Go from there. Have we... Yes! Yes! It's over! It's over! Let's fucking go! Thank you, Hermit! You're a legend! You're a legend! And the last Paladin one is Yogg. Restore 100 health with High Iksars URL. Let's play Pure Paladin, put High Iksars URL in there. Eventually, you'll get it done. You can do some other stuff, like put the Twin Spell and give it Lifesteal and Rush if you don't want to play Pure Paladin. But just play Pure Paladin, that's what I did. You eventually get it done. It takes a while. There's only one copy of the card in your deck, and you likely will only hit with it once, but you'll eventually get it done if you have the card. Next are the Priest achievements. We have Spoilers, Summon a Fortune Teller with 10 attack or higher. I played Wild Big Priest and just put Fortune Teller in my deck, and but turn 5 I have the Fortune Teller and enough spells to get it done. You can literally just play Fortune Teller, a bunch of spells. You'll probably live till turn 5 and get it done. It's pretty straightforward. Next is your Gahuna Be Sorry. Spend 100 health to play cards as a priest. I just played Gahoon in Wild Reno Priest. I would play Polkout, which would get me Gahoon, and then I would play Gahoon, and I could play like Shadow Reaper Anduin or Psychic Scream, and that would be like 15 health I would spend right away. Or I'll get Reno or Raza. It worked out pretty well. It let me tutor it out reliably. It's just a bit of a grind, and if you don't want to do that, just play a deck with the card in it, and you'll eventually get there. It's just one of those time sink ones, and you'll eventually get it done. And lastly, we have One Has No Name. Steal 3 or more enchantments at once with the Nameless One. So these are not like effects. It's not like you can... I tried Namelessing one, Ziliax, it didn't work. You have to like buff up something, so just put like Power Word Shields, like a Reborn spell, and just target any minion. It doesn't have to be your own. Just target any minion with 3 cheap spells, play the Nameless One on it, you'll steal it, and you'll be done, and it's pretty straightforward. Next, we have the Rogue achievement. So deal 100 damage with Prize Plunder's combo effect. It's called It's So Fluffy. Just put Prize Plunder, play like the new Whirlwick combo Rogue in Standard, or play it in a Duels deck, or play it in like Kingsbane Rogue in Wild. Either way, you'll eventually get it done. It's just a gradual thing, and eventually you'll get that 100 damage finished. This one's really challenging, and I got it by pure chance, by literally just through Yogg. I got this playing Druid. My Yogg cast Shadow Clone, and my opponent attacked me with a 10 drop. But what you have to do is summon a 10 cost minion, 10 plus cost minion with Shadow Clone. The way this one you can't really set up. This is really tricky. My best recommendation I can give you for this one is play Wild, play like Secret Rogue in Wild, and wait till you queue into a Big Priest, and then hope they Shadow Essence into a 10 drop and then hit you with it. Because honestly, I don't know any other way I can really manipulate that or try and figure it out. I feel like you just want to play Wild, find a Big Priest, and yeah, they'll Shadow Essence into like that 10 mana Elemental Taunt, and then hit you with it, you'll get it, and that's how you'll get it done. It's basically what happened for me, and hopefully it'll work out for you. But if you guys have any other suggestions, let me know in the comments below. I couldn't really come up with a great strategy for this one. And lastly, we have Myra's Unstable Empress. Draw 5 cards with a Grand Empress Shikzara. Basically, just run Tog Scheme, copy something, and then play Shikzara, and draw 5 copies of it. I actually did the Mogu Cultist thing in Wild, and did an OTK with it. That was pretty funny. But you just basically play Tog Scheme, Shikzara, copy something. You could also do like the bear, the plush bear thing, whatever you want. But I found Scheme to be just effective and good enough. Next we have the Shaman achievements, and we have Darkmoon Woodshop. Buff 100 totems with Grand Totem Izor. So I just built a Wild Totem Shaman. You can do this in Standard too. Put in a bunch of amalgams, a bunch of totems, as much as I basically could, put in like Totem Reflection, Splitting Axe, and I basically got this done in one game. I actually got this done in one game because my Grand Totem Izor stuck for like 3 turns. I made 4 of them with Reflection and the weapon, and it was done. And, you know, it's just a gradual one. You don't have to do it in one game. I just happened to do it all in one game. And this one's not too bad. Just, you know, high roll a game where your Grand Totem actually sticks around. Next, we have Scary Go Round. Transform 14 minions at once with Revolve. This one's really, really easy. All you need for this one is Mad Summoner, which is like a rare demon, and Revolve. And play Mad Summoner and Revolve on 7 mana, you're done. Because that'll fill the board, and then that's 14 minions at once. Unless somehow like a dormant minion gets summoned, I think that can screw with it. But other than that, you're good to go. Really straightforward achievement. And lastly, we have 2 Punch Man, deal 16 damage from hero attacks in a single turn. I just recommend doing this with Demon Hunter. You don't need to do this Shaman. I got it done with Demon Hunter. Play like Soul Fragment Demon Hunter. Play Demon Hunter in Wild with like the passive hero power that you get attack on every outcast, and you'll probably deal 16 damage in 1 turn. You can do like Doomhammer, Rockbiter, that kind of stuff, as well as the new spell that gives you hero attack, but you can play Demon Hunter and get this one just as easily. I got it done day 1 just by accident because it was just, you know, Demon Hunter's stupid. It gets a lot of attack. Next, we have the Warlock achievements. We have Escalating Antics, destroy 50 minions with Cascading Disaster. I got this done with Reno Lock in Wild. You can play this in like a Control, Ticketus, Warlock in Standard. Just kill minions with Cascading Disaster. It's one of those gradual ones. You'll eventually get it done. Nothing more to it than that. My Friend is at the front. Draw 2 demons with free admission. Reduce the cost of them both to 0. I just put a bunch of cheap demons in my deck, free admission, and some spells. Cast it, got it done in 1 game, and then it's got out of there. You know, just put a bunch of cheap demons and no other minions in your deck, and you're really done very quickly. And lastly, we have Missing Holy Grand Grenade. Play Darkmoon Rabbit for 1 mana. You can do this with Deck of Lunacy, obviously. That's kind of what they're thinking. But I actually got this done in Druid, just playing Aviana Darkmoon Rabbit. It costs 1. You can do this in Mage with, like, Luna's Pocket Galaxy. There's multiple ways of doing it. Just as long as it costs 1, that's all that matters. So basically, if you have any of those cards, give them a go. You'll eventually get it done. Last class achievements are Warrior. We have a Bass in Your Face, trigger 50 drum solos with ETC, got a medal. So obviously you need ETC, and yeah, play like ETC, OTK, Warrior in Standard. You could play ETC in Duels. That's where I got it done. I actually haven't played this deck in Standard yet. I just got it done in Duels playing Warrior decks because they're pretty good there. And, you know, you'll eventually get it done. Doesn't have to be done in 1 game. It's just one of those eventual ones. Next, we have Mine. Destroy 5 minions with a single minefield. You can just queue into Odd Paladin in Wild and you probably get it done. But I made sure to guarantee it. What I just did was play Lord Barov, Inner Rage, and then Minefield, and you kill 5 things because the Inner Rage puts your Barov to 3-1, and then you clear the board. But you can just play like a Control Warrior type deck with Minefield. You'll probably eventually get it just by chance. Lastly, play 0-cost Tent Thrasher. It's Tent. Basically, I just utilize amalgams. I did this while I did the N'Zoth achievement we'll talk about in a second, and I just play like Nightmare Amalgam, Circus Amalgam, Hench Clan Hag, which is really good because it summons 2 amalgams, and basically got myself down to 0-cost Thrasher. Pretty simple, just spam some amalgams, and you can put other tribes in there if you want, but amalgams are a pretty reliable way of getting it done. Now on to the neutral achievements. We have free to play, by the way. Play a 0-cost corrupted card 100 times. Basically, you're probably going to want Yashiraj for this, or just spam the living crap out of strawmans, but I did this in Wild using like a ramp druid where I would just play a lot of strawmans. I played like the Amulet, and basically a bunch of other tempo-based corrupt cards, and then just Yashiraj them a bunch, and you could like bounce it back if you want or try and get ways of copying it, but I just played it a bunch. It's one of those time sink ones. You'll eventually get it done. It's kind of slow and tedious, and corrupt cards aren't amazing, but you'll eventually get there. Next is Harmless Little Bunny. Destroy 25 minions with a Darkmoon Rabbit. This one I actually just played Wild Malygos Druid, the Aviana Coon, the Melon version. And Melon draws the rabbit, and I just would kill stuff while I would kill people with the Malygos combo. It makes the deck worse, but it worked out for me. And of course, you can just play whatever deck and put Darkmoon Rabbit into it and eventually get this one done. But yeah, I found it pretty efficient to get it done in a Malygos Druid deck. Next, we have Colorphobia. End your turn with a board full of Carnival Clowns. Corrupt a Carnival Clown. Play it, you're done. We have Embrace the Void, play 500 corrupted cards. Again, I use that Druid deck with a bunch of corrupted cards. Eventually got it done. You can play it with literally any corrupted cards. They have to be corrupted, I believe. I don't think it works if they're not corrupted, so that's a bit of a pain. But other than that, just play corrupted cards. You'll eventually get it done. Next is No Pathetic Cards. Kill your opponent from full health with Cthulhu Shattered. I did an achievement hunter guide on this one already, but basically your opponent has to be at full health when you do this. So I did like a Tree of Life Aviana Coon OTK combo. But another way of doing is just playing duels where you start out like 20 health, just don't damage your opponent, slam Cthulhu and kill them. That can work. But yeah, there's multiple ways of doing it. But overall, they have to be at full health when you play the Cthulhu, and they have to die So keep that in mind. That's why I played a Tree of Life build to heal my opponent up and then kill them. Next we have Dermatology. Play a Horrendous Growth with 15 attack or higher. I'll just list this list I took from Mark. Again, he did like a Horrendous Growth OTK combo, and I just basically copied that. You play it in Shaman, you discount it, and you play like a Constant Evolves and other cards just to buff it up so it's 15 attack or higher. You can do other things, just keep buffing it, but overall, yeah, you have to get it to 15 attack or higher in the same game, in one, you know, play it that game. This isn't a gradual one, so figure out what works best for you. Next we have It's N'Zothing Really. Resurrect 6 minions at once with N'Zoth, God of the Deep. Again, the amalgam stuff helps a lot. You just put in the amalgam I mentioned earlier, and then just play N'Zoth, you're basically done. So yeah, you're not going to have like a win condition doing that way, but it'll get the achievement done, and it's relatively effective. Next is Wheel of Misfortune. Get all outcomes from the Wheel of Yogg Saron. You just have to play Yogg a lot, and I did a Yogg Wild Druid. We made a video on that as well. I'll show the list here, but yeah, just cast Yogg a bunch, and you'll eventually get it done. Obviously, Rod of Roasting is the one that takes 5% chance, so it'll take longer. But play it enough, you'll eventually get it, and you'll get the achievement done. And lastly, we have Yogg. Take the wheel, spin the Wheel of Yogg Saron to win the game. Most reliable way of getting it is, again, just play a bunch of Yoggs, eventually get Rod of Roasting, eventually kill your opponent. If you get lucky, maybe you'll kill them with the random spell one. That will work as well. But for the most part, just play it a lot. It'll cast Rod of Roasting eventually. You'll kill your opponent. It's a grind. It's annoying. But that's all you can do to try and get that one done. And lastly, we have the 2 Duels achievements. The first is just finish a run with 12 wins. You get like an achievement basically every, starting at 3 wins onwards. So even if you can't get 12 wins, you still get achievement points every step of the way. That includes XP, so there's a lot of XP to get here. And I will just link a site here from Neon. He compiles all the best duels list, people that get 12 wins with like every single class. And basically my advice to you, just utilize that, try your best, hope to get lucky, play well. You could try and watch somebody on Twitch like Team America. He's like the best duels player out there. And yeah, try and get 12 wins, you know. Pick the good classes like Demon Hunter. I believe Warlock's still really good. Druid's pretty good now apparently with the new balance patch. So yeah, I mean, try and use the site. I'll link it in the description below. And you know, use those starter decks and just try and get better. And you don't have to play Heroic Duels. You can play the free version. Of course, you need the collection to actually build the deck, so keep that in mind. But yeah, it's all I can really recommend. There's not much more to it than that. And the same goes for the achievement of going 12-0. You have to get even luckier. You have to get 12 wins and not lose the game. I just happened to get a really disgusting Demon Hunter deck while the Demon Hunter stuff hadn't been nerfed yet, and went 12-0 pretty easily. But yeah, a lot of luck required. You have to play well too, but yeah, try and get lucky. And that's it. That's all the achievements that grant XP. Hopefully this guide helps you out. Most people probably won't get, you know, half of these, but if this helps you out, you know, get a few more done, get a bit more XP to get that next level, a little bit more gold, then I'm happy to help out. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, or if you have suggestions, better suggestions on how to complete some of these, feel free to share. People would really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.